Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is a pleasure to be here with you today as we explore the future of the New Silk Road, or the Belt and Road Initiative, a vision that extends far beyond trade routes, connecting continents through shared values of sustainability, innovation, and common prosperity. Since its inception in 2013, the Belt and Road Initiative has reshaped the global trade and investment landscape. It has forged significant investment in infrastructure, boosted trade, and strengthened people-to-people bonds. Hong Kong is an active participant, contributor, and beneficiary of the Belt and Road Initiative. Over the past decade, Hong Kong has played a vital role in its growth too. For instance, our external trade with Belt and Road countries has increased by around 60%. For those of you who are less familiar with our city, Hong Kong is a special administrative region of China and administered under the one country, two systems principle. On the one hand, we have convenient and at times priority access to the mainland market, but on the other, retain all the defining characteristics of an international city: open and diverse, rule of law, free flow of goods, capital, information, and talent. And our business practices align with the best international standards. This uniqueness enables us to serve as a super connector in the region, creating opportunities for all. As the Belt and Road Initiative moves into the next decade, the focus is clear: sustainability and inclusiveness. Green infrastructure projects are at its heart, from solar plants to low-carbon railway transportation. The common aspiration is to pave a green silk road, benefiting all along the route. And Hong Kong's strategic vision to become an international green tech and green finance center can contribute to the achievement of this common aspiration in many ways. First, we can address the funding gap. The funding need for green transition is huge. Global annual climate investments are estimated to reach $9 trillion by 2030 and 10 trillion by 2050. Hong Kong, as one of the top 3 international financial centers, along with New York and London, and Asia's green finance leader, is well positioned to mobilize capital to support the green transition by matching quality projects with funding. For instance, we arrange around $63 billion on average annually for the past 3 years. Indeed, the sustainable debts issued by Hong Kong, accounting for about 1/3 of Asia's total. But more than funding, we are committed to innovating financial arrangements that have broadened the investor base of green projects. One example is securitization of infrastructure loans, packaging more mature brownfield projects for investors, thereby releasing funds for investment into other greenfield projects. Hong Kong has issued 2 batches of such loans already, amounting to $800 million in more than 50 projects in the Middle East, Asia Pacific, and Latin America. Second, we can address the technology gap. There is still a significant disparity in green tech adoption globally, with countries in the global south lacking the financial resources and infrastructure to adopt cutting-edge green solutions. Investment inclinations will also aggravate the widening of the gap, as developed nations typically invest more in R&D for green technologies. Hong Kong is home to many green tech startups, all sharing the mission to develop technological solutions that combat climate change, which may well fit into the relevant categories of economies in the MENA region. One of them, for example, develops carbon capture technologies in 3D print reef tiles to help restore coral reefs. It is now having a production base in Abu Dhabi. Third, we can address the knowledge gap. That means linking up people, projects, and knowledge. Hong Kong is a compact city, yet has the solid experience in city planning and operation and managing large-scale infrastructure projects. Our expertise in smart cities and green urban planning complements MENA's ambition to build digitally connected, sustainable urban centers. These potential partnerships can set standards for urban resilience and environmental stewardships in the years ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, the vision of a Green Zero presents a unique opportunity for us to collaborate on fostering sustainable, resilient, and inclusive development for our future generations. Hong Kong is proud to be a part of that effort, and we are committed to making valuable contributions in finance and innovation and fostering partnerships to strive for a brighter and greener future for all. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much to the Financial Secretary, Mr. Paul Chan, for articulating a very clear vision, the roles and achievements of Hong Kong. And I think we're all very excited to see that Hong Kong is taking this pioneer and leading role in building the green and silk investments along the nations. So today we have with us, we all know that Hong Kong and the MENA region are going to be strategically positioned in this area of developing and driving sustainable growth along the nation. So we have three key honored speakers with us coming from the government, the technology, as well as business sector background to share your insights and experience in promoting a collaborative framework across the nations. So we have here Nicholas Ho, the Commissioner of Belt and Road of Hong Kong, and in the middle, Wei Li, the co-founder and CEO of Biomap, a pioneer in life science AI foundational models. And far from there, Andrew Liveris, the former chairman and CEO of Dow Chemical. Let's welcome. So I'm going to start with Nicholas first. So you are a leading architect and also a key advocate of green sustainable investments, and now transitioning from your previous role to a governor role. And we just heard from Mr. Paul Chan's speech that Hong Kong last year has issued over $50 billion green instruments, green debts. So how do you see the deployment of this capital, and what are the structural sectors that you see will be most suited to be benefiting from this large pool of capital and green investments to build the Belt and Road a better place?
Thank you, Casey. No, you're absolutely right. Hong Kong is very unique in a way. We have a total green economic engine. As the Financial Secretary has mentioned previously, we have green finance, which is powered by our green standards interoperability, our international financial center strength. Second, we have a professional services that is well-versed in sustainability, making projects go green transformation. And third, which is probably the most important, is that green innovation in Hong Kong has been sort of growing extremely fast, powered by the university research in Hong Kong. As you all know, Hong Kong, we have 5 of the top 100 universities in the world. So I think these 3 components makes Hong Kong extremely unique in the global green value chain, is that we can help become a self-feedback system to drive projects. So in the sort of MENA Asia context, or the Belt and Road context, in the past 11 years, a lot of mega-scale infrastructure projects have been built, policy connectivity has been built. So now SMEs or private capital can enter and create these projects along the Belt and Road a lot easier, with a lower cost of finance, with lower threshold for cross-border mobilization. So we believe that this era is very much about the mobilization of the public-private investment. And that is why, this partnership with MENA and Asia Economic Corridor makes perfect sense.
Okay, thank you. I think that's a very robust structure and framework of public and private partnership, and that provides a very solid foundation to bring this into real impact. And I'm going to turn to Andrew for a minute, and you are very experienced in leading the business sectors in corporates and industry transformation, particularly in the chemical sectors, and also implementing some of the very innovative solutions into sustainable transformation. So can you please just share with us your experience of leading Dow Chemicals' 10-year vision achieving sustainable goals, and not just the vision, but transforming from a vision to implementations and initiatives, and eventually become a DNA of a corporate?
Yeah, thank you, Casey. My qualification for being on this panel also is I spent 14 years in Hong Kong, so I feel like I'm an alum, and certainly the amazing progress. And I don't want to tell you when I first went there, because neither of you were born, none of you were born, but certainly seeing the transformation of that part of the world, certainly the China, but the Hong Kong story, formed me as a young chemical engineer going to Hong Kong in my first assignment actually at Dow. So at Dow, having the privilege of being 125 years young and reinventing oneself, and I was the 11th CEO, and I had the CEO job for 14 years, I inherited before the value-based system that led to the 10-year goals being integrated. Back in the 90s when they were first started, there were report mechanisms, triple bottom line. So we call that the era where we focused on our assets, and we call that our footprint. But the 10-year goals, they were great. We reported great environmental outcomes, great social outcomes, but they weren't integrated into business strategy. The next 10-year goals that came after, that has a finish date 2005, we actually call our handprint goals, which is absolutely that we send products to the world, chemical products that all of you use, that have effects to humans, and that we needed to report those effects, be the first to report them, and then even particular minimize and actually take them out of the environment. That put a lot of onus on us to invest. And so that led to sustainability actually being a noun, not just an adjective. And sustainability, which is, I'll get to for the third 10-year goals, to build into the DNA, the businesses, and I was CEO at the time, need to have an ROI focus. Green is important, both greens. If you don't have the green of money driving behaviors to the business community, you're not going to get the green outcomes, to state the obvious. So an ROI at Dow meant what was the value of nature. So we developed tools and metrics to make all of our businesses present to us strategies that actually had an ROI, that had a return to our handprint. But then that wasn't enough. The aha moment in the late 00s leading to the next 10-year goals, which really I think all of us are sitting in, is what's the effect on the planet? So we developed the blueprint goals, and we became one of the handful of organizations around the world that led to purpose-based strategies that said protecting our planet needed a whole new era of metrics and commitments, and that meant that we had to be at the table, not on the menu, at the table, working with governments to develop the right policies. So dare I say it, as I finish the answer to the question, building that into enterprises like business means the triangle of business, government, and society gets complete. In other words, business serves society, government serves society. Society has needs. Those needs need educated policies. BRI needs to be relevant for the 21st century. Enterprises like Dow need to be responsive to actually how to create that legacy effect. So we built it into the enterprise that way, and today my successor has continued it on with the next 10-year goals. The next 10-year goals is absolutely totally about reduce, reuse, recycle that has an effect in terms of returns, but legacy effects to humanity.
Wow, thank you so much. I think what you just shared with us was a $10 billion consulting fee for companies to implement that and replicate that success. And it's very critical to have a constructive model from vision to implementation to metrics that will encourage a continuous innovation. So I'm going to turn to Wei. So we are all very familiar about the large language model, but can you share with us more about what is a bio-language model? So it is very difficult to talk about the green new Silk Road without touching technologies which can in part fundamentally shape a company and the industry and the country. So can you share with us some of the breakthrough that you're doing? And I know that HKIC has a part of investment into your company. So how do you envision to leverage Hong Kong as the platform and the gateway to replicate your technologies to other nations, either developed or developing nations, along the Belt and Road?
Yes, thank you. So the large language model for biology actually is trained not from the people's language, the English, Chinese, but rather it's trained from the DNA, from the mRNA assay, the protein sequence, so it can understand the complexity of the biological world because it's trained by trillions of the data from the evolution tree. So it can generate like the new biostatistics that not existing in the natural world. So we are quite a young company. It's our honor to here to share because I think we are young, we are just 4 years old, a startup, but I think we are quite typical. Back to your question about what's the connection between us and Hong Kong. 4 years ago, when we started the company, we call ourselves an American company or a China company because it's very typical for the last generation of the ambitious new technology company to directly connect from Beijing to Palo Alto, from Shanghai to San Francisco. It's us. We use like the 200 people team from America and China for engineering, for AI, for biotech, for everything. But now the global tensions break the direct connections. You see all the policies and all the global turbulence recently. So we need to find another hub, another super connector. It's what Hong Kong is called. So without the Hong Kong support, we are building the first innovation hub in Hong Kong since this year, and we are considering to open more and more research center or maybe eventually the headquarters in Hong Kong because our talent people are not freely travel between China and America right now. Our data sharing between China and America is so hard. The IP protection between China and America gets some problem, but we will think Hong Kong as a hub, as a super connector to host us. We still need the global talents, global data, global IP protections to serve the global customers. So it's why we moved to Hong Kong and relaunch ourselves from Hong Kong. This means because the topic is about the BRI, the Belt and Road. So it's not only limited to Hong Kong, but also we consider Hong Kong is like a hub to be the center of the company's next generation of the development. We used to be focused more on the drug discovery side, but we are life science foundation model. So our technology can also benefit the green tech, the enzyme design, the biomaterial design, maybe just like those. So quite a lot of new ideas. But these new ideas, the market might not be in America and China, mainland China. It might be around the world, around the BRI. So we consider Hong Kong as a new hub for us to relaunch ourselves through the BRI and to take all these opportunities.
Great. And I think in cautious of time, so we're going to give Nicholas and Andrew the last chance to give the audience some of your best insights and lessons learned from your past projects that has been implemented so far. And also, Andrew, in your new book, Leading Through Disruptions, do you see any sort of constructive solutions that would be scaled up to help other nations? So we'll start with Nicholas.
Sure thing, thank you. I think as the financial sector has mentioned, the Belt and Road Initiative or the New Silk Road is a long-term investment commitment. And I think now we're beginning to enter into the harvest period. When we think of Hong Kong as a hub for Belt and Road, we are often talking about we're almost like a super highway where projects, talent, innovation can go through Hong Kong and then just super connect to all these MENA or Asian markets. And I do see, what Andrew and also Hui mentioned, there is a lot of public-private partnership opportunities that needs the level of expertise and skill sets through capacity building and whatnot, in order to become high quality, in order that they can address social needs, in order for them to deliver the right results long term, to have common prosperity.
Yeah, we're very, very excited about that mission to carry forward. Last word from you, Andrew, about the collaboration model.
Yeah, the book you referred to, Leading Through Disruption, I wrote with a view to the future that the divergence of humanity in things digital, things environmental, social, governance, geopolitical, if you're a young person starting out today and you look at all that and you say, we have collectively screwed it up. I mean, what is essence going to be the template moving forward? I think efforts like the BRI are speaking to the new way forward if you can modernize them to the needs of convergence on those factors. So how do you make BRI digital? How do you make BRI green? How do you make BRI good for societies, all the societies it touches? That's an example of a new age initiative. And I think that way of thinking, how to operate at the intersection through convergence, is actually the demands that we now all have on all of us, wherever we sit, business, government, academia. And I think we have to role model and role play it, because the noise level, as we know with geopolitics, we can't assume it's going to happen out of politics alone. In fact, it probably won't. I mean, so that's where I think the modernization of initiatives like BRI needs to happen.
Brilliant. I think we can all go on, but we appreciate the time that the three speakers have been sharing with us, and we have strong conviction in the future that the Belt and Road Initiative is going to create significant impact with a collaborative model along the public and private side. Thank you very much, all, for joining us today.